Wood is not just for making furniture. It's also the material that holds a 19th century table model stereoscope. The guest presented a table-modeled stereoscope for appraisal. The appraiser confirmed it was a high-quality stereoscope with solid walnut construction. The appraiser identified Alexander Beckers as the inventor and estimated this 1870s model, with early versions dating back to 1858 to 1859. The stereoscope had two ocular pieces for simultaneous viewing from opposite sides. The stereoscope cards have identical images for 3D viewing. The guest stereoscope included images by C. Heimberger, a local photographer from New Albany, Indiana, adding a regional touch. The appraiser also highlighted stereo views by the Keystone View Company of Meadville, Pennsylvania. These were part of a larger set of 600 stereo views, with the guest drawer containing cards numbered 576 to 600. This part of the set, dating to around 1910, contrasted with the 1870s origin of the stereoscope. While examining the condition of the table model stereoscope, the appraiser said,
"The market value of this machine and the cards is probably $400 to $600.
We are presented with a tinglet bowl and a ladle. The guest inherited them from his great-great-grandfather.
He was in the military and he was sent from Portland, Oregon up to Sitka as part of a scientific expedition.
These 18th century items come from the Tinglet tribe in the Chilkat region. The bowl is a Native American masterpiece, usually filled with grease used as a condiment, and the ladle is a very large spoon made out of a mountain sheep horn.
And this would have been a huge mountain sheep.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Very large. These would have been considered family heirlooms of the Tlingit people.
Although it is obviously not in the shape of the original horn.
Boiled until the horn fabric is soft and malleable, and then pressed into a mold, tied down, and left to dry, and then it retains that shape.
We also see clan figures on this ladle, which are known to be protective spirits and family symbols, an animistic religion that Native people practice, all empowered as spiritual. This mountain sheep horn ladle at auction would sell
in the range of about $75,000.
Wow.
While the grease bowl, featuring a raven with a human head at the back, used as a condiment holder, would have a great value of
easily in the $175,000 to $225,000 range.
Wow, my goodness.
They're spectacular. And the tongue,
as the raven would say.
The guest brought in an oil painting inherited from their grandparents. The artist is identified as John Ferry, an Austrian-born artist renowned for his paintings of the American Northwest coast. John came to the States in the 1880s. The painting's date is estimated to be around the 1890s. Considering its size, condition, and Ferry's artistic reputation, the value of the painting is...
This condition would be estimated in the region of $10,000 to $15,000.
Wonderful.
The guest brought in a magnificent chair unlike anything the appraiser had seen before. This impressive piece of furniture was constructed from a combination of elk and moose hide, with a buffalo hide seat, creating a look that celebrated the American West. It belonged to a set of 4 chairs that originated from the Clarence Parker Estate in North Dakota, and the guest believed it dated back to the early 1900s. Upon closer inspection, the date of the chair is revised to either late 19th or early 20th century. This revised dating was based on the specific techniques used to fasten the various hide components together. You can see the nuts, bolts, and brackets visible on the back of the chair, which were indicative of 20th century construction methods. Beyond the dating, the chair's quality is quite impressive. Unlike many hastily assembled pieces of horn furniture, this chair exhibited meticulous craftsmanship, possibly even hinting at being a commissioned work. This high level of detail was evident in features like the capped and plaster-filled moose horn tips, designed to prevent snags or injuries. Considering the chair's unique nature, rarity, size, exceptional condition, and superior quality, the estimated auction value is...
I think a good auction estimate would be $6,000 to $8,000, but that's not to say that it couldn't surpass that if the right people were engaged.
The guest brought in a Martin guitar that belonged to his great-grandmother, a Civil War bride who lived near Clarksville, Virginia. The guitar was a cherished heirloom passed down to the guest's father. The guitar is a C.F. Martin Ott 28 parlor guitar, a style popular in the 19th century. These guitars were smaller in size than their orchestral counterparts, making them ideal for playing while seated, hence the name parlor guitar. Parlor guitars were a popular choice for women during this era, and they were often featured in string instrument bands. The particular Martin guitar brought in by the guest was in exceptional condition, especially considering its age. The guitar's spruce top and rosewood sides and back were adorned with inlay work, and it featured a pyramid bridge, a design commonly seen on 19th century guitars. The original coffin case, with its worn leather exterior and a faded Southern Railway sticker, added to the guitar's historical significance. Given the guitar's excellent condition, rarity, and historical significance as a family heirloom, the estimated value is,
at least $3,000 to $5,000. Wow.
At a much recent auction, however, the value of the piece went higher and is now valued at $5,000 to $6,500.
Wow. Wow. Well, I know that my dad would never sell it.
The guest brought in a watercolor painting by Walter Anderson, a gift from the artist's sister-in-law. She believed the painting dated to the 1940s or 50s. Walter is the middle brother of the artistic Anderson family. Very admirable is the unique style of the watercolor, attributed to Walter's artistic training, followed by his exploration of a more personal and whimsical artistic approach. Based on stylistic elements, the painting's creation date is in the 1940s or 50s, possibly painted during Walter's time on Horn Island. There is a potential concern with the mat surrounding the painting, and its replacement with an acid-free material for better preservation is recommended. An interesting detail was the estate stamp found on the corner, a monogram representing Walter's initials. This stamp was used by the family to identify Walter's artwork after his passing. The value of the painting is placed at
between $25,000 and $35,000. Oh, yes. Oh.
The guest inherited a porcelain figurine from her husband's family. She believed it to be Meissen and explained that her mother-in-law, Johnny May, had a fondness for luxurious items. The figurine is confirmed to be indeed Meissen, and you can see its intricate design featuring two nude women, a child entangled in a fishnet, and various other details. Despite its delicate nature, the figurine remained in excellent condition with minimal damage. Examining the underside of the figurine, you can see the crossed swords marked with 2 dots, indicating a production period between 1850 and 1924. An additional model number C35 allowed for further identification. Through this research, it is revealed that the figurine's title is The Capture of the Tritons, a mythological scene. While the original model was created by the famed 18th century sculptor Kandler for Meissen, the figurine itself dated to the late 19th century based on the specific markings and stylistic details. Considering its age, quality, and intricate design, the estimated figurine's retail value is,
I would estimate a retail value to be between $4,000 and $6,000.
Johnny May would be very proud of that if she were living.
Yes.
Well, very nice.
The guest brought in a dazzling necklace, earrings, and ring set she inherited from her adventurous great-aunt Mimi. Mimi, a Scottish immigrant who thrived as a real estate agent to the stars in Los Angeles, was known for her glamorous lifestyle. The guest mistakenly believed the jewelry set to be costume jewelry due to its bold design. However, it is revealed the surprising truth that the set was crafted with real gemstones and gold. The necklace, a demi-bib style, featured beautiful citrine stones accented by white sapphires, which were a very good substitute for diamonds. The gold content of the set is surprising as well, testing at a lower 9-karat gold, which hinted at a South American origin. The estimated creation date of the set is to be between 1935 and 1945. While not considered top-tier jewelry, the set held a unique position between costume jewelry and high-end pieces. Given its fabulous design and completeness with the earrings and ring, the estimated value is
for $3,000 to $4,000.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, it certainly would.
Yo. I can't believe it. That's wonderful.
The guest was a National March of Dimes poster child in 1955 at the age of 5 or 6. She traveled across the United States meeting celebrities, sports stars, and politicians. Here we have photos of the guest meeting Grace Kelly and President Eisenhower. The speaker recalled walking into a room full of men in suits and asking,
"Well, I walked in and there was a crowd full of men in coats, and I said, okay, which one's the president?"
The guest highlighted that 1955 was the year the Salk polio vaccine came out, and she had the honor of accepting an international award on Dr. Salk's behalf. Even though she was young, she understood the importance of her role and would tell people to donate to the March of Dimes. Shifting attention to the book filled with autographs and photos from the guest's time as a poster child. These included signatures from Elvis Presley, President Dwight Eisenhower, Yogi Berra, Arlene Francis, and many senators. The estimated retail value of the autographs, with Elvis Presley's signature being the most valuable, is
about $4,000 to $5,000 in signatures. Yeah.
Thank you.
This pretty thing is definitely girly, perfect for a lady's dressing table. They asked how it ended up with them. Well, their mom gave it to them, and it was from an old friend of hers. They didn't care much about it before, even though they always admired it in their mom's cabinet. They hoped it would be theirs someday, and now it is. They mentioned it's going to another family member named Pauline. They talked about who made the silver and glass parts. They figured the glass part came first, then the silver part. They said it's a perfume bottle. They think it once held their grandma's perfume, and they could still smell it a little bit. They checked the hallmark and found out it was made in 1898. The green color is because of something called uranium oxide. They found it cool how the color changed from clear to green. They joked that their mom doesn't care for it, so it's better if they take it home. They said their mom can avoid handling what she thinks is worthless. They're starting to like it more now. They ended the talk on a happy note, saying it's a nice thing with a bit of history. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
"That's worth, I don't know, 100 to 150 quid.
Oh, lovely.
So there we go. Nice thing, eh?
Lovely thing, I know. I'm beginning to appreciate it.
Guest brought in 2 vintage baskets for appraisal. She inherited these baskets from her great-aunt and believes they might be from Arizona, early 1900s. Based on the unique starting stitch, the appraiser thinks they might be early Papago baskets, woven around 1890 to 1900. Interestingly, even though Papago baskets typically use yucca materials, these baskets use Pima materials like willow and devil's claw. Older basket has a beautiful butterfly wing design, which is very rare and desirable by collectors. Another clue that these are not traditional Pima baskets is the lack of the usual whip stitch around the rim.
This basket's probably circa 1930s, maybe 1920s. Also, doesn't have the typical Pima whip stitch around the edge.
The wear and tear on the older basket adds to its character, and the natural aging has given it a beautiful golden patina. Both baskets were likely made for tourists as Pima basket designs became more elaborate to suit tourist preferences. The rarer butterfly wing design basket is estimated to be worth,
this basket, I think we're talking $1,000 to $1,100.
Okay.
Other basket with a more common design is estimated to have a retail value of,
this basket, a retail value would possibly be around $750.
Okay.
This lucky guest brought in a surprise, a vintage dog statue. It turns out it's a Weller pottery piece, a famous Ohio brand. The signature reveals it's from the 1920s or 30s. Believe it or not, the clay used tells us it's likely from Ohio. Back then, Ohio was a pottery hotspot, thanks to glaciers. Due to its age and being a lawn ornament, it's quite rare. Imagine this adorable pup standing guard on a lawn. Weller made many lawn ornaments, but not many survive. This one's in amazing condition, even for being carried unwrapped.
And it's a terrier. I'm not a dog guy, so I don't know exactly which kind, but I've never seen this one before.
The market for Weller lawn ornaments has cooled a bit recently, but this rare pup might buck the trend. A conservative auction estimate puts it at,
so what I would say in terms of the value of the piece, conservative estimate at auction would be $3,000 to $4,000.
Wow. Before us lies a piece of history, a Shackleton Expedition Diary that has survived the passage of time. Penned by one of the crew members of the extraordinary expedition to Antarctica, led by the legendary Ernest Shackleton, who was an Anglo-Irish Antarctic explorer. Our guest's father acquired this relic from a friend about 40 years ago. The diary has been very well preserved despite its fragility. However, there's a small imperfection, with some pages missing. This diary provides a detailed first-hand account of the perilous expedition.
I think this is the 30th of March. That must be 1915. Shot last dog, kept pups for food, their flesh a treat.
Actually eating the dogs.
Dogs, yes.
Without a known author, this phenomenal diary's value is somewhat diminished, with an auction estimate of
£30,000.
Oh no. No.
So I don't want it.
No.
Featured on the show today is an Italian violin, along with its bow. The items used to belong to the guest's great-aunt, who was a violinist. Accompanying the violin is a bill of sale issued at the time of its purchase in 1921.
Rudolf Wurlitzer attests that this violin is a Camellius Camilli.
On the violin, we can observe that the strings are broken, but the item boasts detailed craftsmanship. At the front of the violin is a finely carved spruce top, and the violin's arch is flat and full. On the back of the piece, we can discern curls on the wood, denoting it was made from opio wood.
In northern Italy, and it grows only in northern Italy, done very, very closely in the Italian style.
There are textures on the surface of the violin from tool marks. However, the violin was discovered not to be authentic, and although it is fake, it is still valuable at auction, fetching a value of
It was between $6,000 to $8,000.
Another item displayed is the French bow, made by Caresse and Francois in Paris. The bow's ferrule has a rounded front, and the bow was crafted from Pernambuco wood. At auction, this bow is estimated to be worth
That's the value of the violin, and that is about $6,000 to $8,000.
Displayed before us are two beautiful bandolier bags inherited by our guest from his father, who was working at a nursery when he acquired the pieces.
And from the best I can tell, he traded nursery stock for these bags.
This style of bandolier bags was made by the Western Great Lakes tribes.
They got so good at making them that some of the groups out in the Dakotas, specifically the Western Sioux, would trade a horse for a bandolier bag.
And the bag, with the floral designs, dates back to the late 19th century, while the Oweeby bag dates back to the mid-19th century, boasting overlay stitches on cloth depicting floral designs. Although made a long time ago, these bags are in terrific condition. As symbols of Native American cultural heritage, these items would have an auction value of
They're still selling for about $1,000 to $1,500.
The guest brought a Buddhist figure from his uncle's collection for the appraisal. The uncle served in the Navy during World War II, and when the war was over, he used to lend money to the soldiers for recreational sports on the way back home. The soldiers paid back through collateral, so the guest's uncle collected a whole trunk of collateral by the time he returned back home, including the figure brought for appraisal. Based on the posture, the decoration, and the lotus base, it was determined that the figure was Chinese. It dated back to the late Ming Dynasty or the early Qing Dynasty from the 17th century. The figure had a nice good size and featured a number of uneven and rough pits on the surface that was originally covered with dark burgundy lacquer permeated with gold leaf. These figures were always cast hollow because the bronze was fairly inexpensive material and had a really nice detailing on them, typical of the Ming era. This exquisite 17th century brass antique was quite rare and was appraised at
In today's market, this would make somewhere between $5,000 and $8,000.
Oh my, we're that
$5,000 and $8,000 at auction. And that's simply because it's a very strong market. There's a lot of people interested in this type of material, particularly in mainland China, and there are relatively few of them available. If it had been intact with all the gilding and everything present, it would have been significantly more valuable than that.
The guest brought a collection of Cracker Jack cards that her husband inherited from her father-in-law. Her husband's father had 3 brothers who didn't eat all the Cracker Jacks but collected the boxes and got these cards. The Cracker Jack had been around since 1890, and the cards were first introduced in 1914. The cards came out in 2 sets, one in 1914, where each card required the purchase of Cracker Jack box, and the other in 1915, where a full set of cards could be ordered once. The guest collection included Hall of Famers like Joe Jackson, Ty Cobb, and Honus Wagner.
But there's one card that really makes it a spectacular collection of Cracker Jacks.
Do I have it?
And you do have it.
The Christy Mathewson card was by far the most rare and scarce card. Identified to be from the 1914 set, as the 1915 set featured him in a different pose. With a skilled appraisal, the car's hidden value was unveiled, revealing the price tag at
auction, as is. This album's worth $30,000 to $40,000.
Oh, the kids are going to be on this right away.
So you got a Cracker Jack surprise.
This landscape painting showcased offers more than just aesthetic pleasure. The painting was acquired by our guest when he attended a summer art session hosted by the maker of the piece, Birger Sansen. Sansen was a Swedish painter best known for his landscapes.
But he really preferred to paint a realistic view of the American landscape because he felt that that's what people could really relate to.
It was created in Colorado and is signed and dated 1937 in the lower right corner. Additionally, on the reverse of this item, we can see it is titled Mountain Stream, Big Thompson Canyon in Estes Park. The painting features a thick layer of impasto over the entire surface and depicts some trees, rocks, and a beautiful sky. With its skillfully colored details, we can expect this painting to be valued at
I think at auction this might bring as much as $30,000 to $50,000.
No, I was thinking in the hundreds maybe, but thousands, no.
Showcased today is a breathtaking collection of creations by Walter Inglis Anderson, who is a prestigious American painter and writer. This collection features 3 exceptional pieces, 2 remarkable drawings, and a stunning porcelain bowl. Our guest inherited the first piece from her father, acquired the second from her nephew, and received the porcelain bowl as a birthday gift from her father. This exquisite porcelain bowl is in superb condition, with an estimated auction value of
He would estimate it around about $4,000 to $6,000.
Furthermore, this captivating crab depiction is in flawless condition, with an estimated auction value of
Probably again around about $4,000 to $6,000.
Well, that's shocking.
Yeah.
Finally, this lovely pelican artwork exhibits some minor flaws, such as fading and staining, affecting its auction estimate to
And I would suggest for auction an estimate of $8,000 to $12,000.
You are a goofy guy.
Thank you.
A 19th century Nathaniel Cartier print, a true treasure, bought for $1, is now worth a king's measure. In Hartford, Connecticut, an office was clearing out old items. One item purchased for $1 turned out to be a valuable find. The print was marked by N. Cartier, revealing it to be by Nathaniel Cartier. He founded Cartier & Ives, the renowned 19th century American printmaking firm. Known for producing over 7,000 different images, Cartier & Ives prints are often mistaken for reproductions. This is especially true for those tied to insurance companies. Confirmed authentic by its size and examination, this lithograph is unique. It was identified as an original, notably framed in a 19th century frame, referencing a collector's guide. The print titled Life of a Fireman was authenticated. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
In this kind of condition, about $3,000 to $4,000. So that was a pretty good purchase. The insurance company.
The rich tapestry of Native American culture is represented by this collection of items. Our guest has had these items in his family since his great-great-grandfather, who acquired them during the Battle of Wounded Knee. Included in the collection is a doll originating from the Apache tribe in Arizona. The hide on the piece is made of tanned deer hide, while the beads on the head are from Europe. Tin cones adorn the piece, which were repurposed from tin cans. This piece of cultural heritage is estimated to be worth
The Apache doll, on a retail basis, I believe would sell for about $5,500.
Secondly, we have moccasins that date back to 1850, originating from Delaware in Oklahoma. Featured on the item are glass beads of European origin. Furthermore, the piece is made from silk, with beautiful floral designs adorning it. At auction, this pair of moccasins, in such pristine condition, would be valued at
I think on a retail basis, these would sell for about $6,500.
Wow, okay.
The guest brought the bracelet, hoping it was a real Cartier Snow White bracelet made for Disney when the movie was produced. She recounted how she and her partner saw the bracelet in an estate jewelry shop window, and within 24 hours, her partner had called the store to purchase it for her. They bought the bracelet in 2012 for a little more than $3,200. The appraiser explained that the Cartier bracelet was part of a large line of promotional items produced for the movie and was considered top of the line, with very few made. All licensed pieces were inscribed with Cartier WDENT. However, the appraiser revealed that the guest bracelet was not one of those rare pieces. Despite this, she noted that it was an excellent piece of jewelry and valued it on its own merits at approximately.
I would give it a retail valuation on its own merits of approximately $2,000.
Okay. A beautiful pear-point puffy lamp takes center stage in today's episode. Inherited by the guest from his grandmother, this exquisite lamp boasts a rich family history. Crafted by Pierpoint, a renowned company from New Bedford, Massachusetts, this lamp dates back to circa 1920. The Stratford shade features a frosted exterior and a reverse painted interior.
This shade is made in a mold. It's mold blown. Oh. And you don't usually see any mold lines on the shade because they actually fire polished those out.
Showcasing pansies, roses, daisies, and dogwoods. Known for its gentle and comforting glow, the puffy lamp remains a cherished piece. Despite its worn base, which affects its value, the lamp still stands as a testament to Pierpoint's craftsmanship. In its current condition, at a retail shop, this charming lamp would fetch.
It would sell for around $1,500.
Everyone is fascinated with the know-how that goes into well-crafted items, and that's the case with this vase. Well-crafted, this piece is from Weller Pottery. Weller Pottery is located in the Zanesville, Ohio area, and the vase features a beautiful portrait of a Native American. The date of creation of this fine vase can be set to circa 1910, and it would be a marvelous addition for any lover of well-made vases. A piece with this level of craftsmanship and quality would be worth how much in today's market? To simply call this brooch a piece of memorial jewelry might seem like an underappreciation, but that's exactly what this brooch is. It's a piece of memorial jewelry. The jewelry was passed down to this guest through the generations. The brooch is black onyx with a little pearl in the center. There's a story about the pearl in the center. The pearl connotes tears for when women were widowed. What is quite beautiful about this brooch is that it's American-made and dates to circa 1850.
What's particularly nice about this are the cuts of these stones. If you see that, they're really beautifully done.
This brooch, at auction with the story accompanying it and its significance, would be worth.
Well, it's worth about $400.
Oh, that's delightful.
Isn't that wonderful?
That is wonderful.
And
Thank you, Joyce.
Today's item looks like a violin, but it is more complicated due to the sound it produces. The item is called a cello, and it's a violin that plays the bass or tenor. The cello was manufactured by a prestigious German family, and the craftsmanship is evident on its surface.
These wonderful sound holes, very characteristic of that family, and the scroll was very German of the period, very mittenvoll.
The bow, on the other hand, is finely made and was crafted by a prestigious British family. The bow is gold-mounted and perfectly complements the cello to produce great music. At an auction, the combo of this cello and bow would retail at.
And the cello, I'd say today with the scarcity of good professional-grade cellos, about $18,000 to $22,000.
It was a good investment.
One of the first Canadian depictions of modern art is these beautiful paintings. They were drawn by Canadian artist Morel. These paintings were early depictions of a combination of modern art and traditional Aboriginal imagery. The paintings are crafted with attention to detail, showcasing many fine details.
So you have this wonderful overlay of lines and abstracted shapes combined with loons and thunderbirds and just great imagery.
And it just shows how beautiful the imagery in these paintings is. Norval was one of Canada's most important artists.
And painted in 1968 was one of the best periods for him.
And his works, like these, are considered magnificent. At a suitable auction, each of these beautiful paintings would auction at.
Retail, the larger piece could sell for between $15,000 and $25,000, and the smaller pieces, the works on paper, between $3,000 and $5,000 each.
Marvel at the elegance of this exquisite vintage silver vase. The guest's grandmother used the vase as collateral for a loan, and it has been in the family ever since. During the period of Renaissance revival, circa the 1860s, this piece was made. All over the surface of this silverware, we can see different kinds of Renaissance motifs, such as the Renaissance herm figure and winged figures forming the vase handle. On the back of the item, we have a female herm figure, while underneath the vase, there is the Tiffany mark dated 1902 to 1907.
That much later. Which is really interesting because they experienced a little bit of Renaissance revival at that time as well.
However, some of the texturing on the piece has worn off due to time and some cleaning by the guest. Regardless of the minor wear, this silverware, made with attention to detail, accrue at auction value of...
At auction, I would think that this is worth in the $30,000 to $50,000 range. Oh my God, that's amazing.
The guest's great-grandfather was in the advertising business and moved from Fitchburg, Massachusetts to New York in the late 1910s, where he purchased this piece. The item came into the guest's mother's possession after his great-grandfather passed away. The appraiser identified it as a letter from George Washington. With his signature at the end, the letter instructed to send a carriage for someone and pick them up in 1798, a year before George Washington's death. Interestingly, the address on the side mentioned that the letter was for James McHenry, who was the Secretary of War at the time and had been a doctor during the Revolutionary War. The appraiser further revealed that when these items were framed, pictures were added to make them graphically more interesting, allowing us to see images of both McHenry and Washington. The bottom piece was by James H. McHenry, the son of James Henry, and he was giving this autographed letter to a man named McKittredge. The letter had a dark and bold handwriting, which tends to fade over time, but bringing together two famous figures added a lot of value to this item, with the expected value to be...
I would say on a retail level, this is probably a $10,000 to $15,000 item.
Wow.
The guest discovered the treasure box 25 years ago while visiting relatives who owned a Gilded Age mansion in Newport, Rhode Island. After the grandmother passed away, the estate invited relatives to take items they wanted, and in the attic, she found a dusty, unassuming box in the corner. The appraiser identified the item as French, primarily made of silver gilt and mother-of-pearl pieces. Silver gilt is French silver dipped with a gilt surface, and this set was made by Croc, a renowned dynasty of silversmiths and jewelers, apparently between 1820 and 1840. The set was intended for ship or train travel, primarily for a lady. The appraiser noted the exceptional completeness of the set, which included dressing and grooming accessories, sewing tools, a small eating surface, and a porcelain teacup and saucer, made in Paris around 1830. One unusual item in the set was an eye rinse, used for rinsing eyes exposed to dust. The set also contained ink spots and a pen rest, all fitting neatly into the case. The case itself had brass inlay, known as boulet inlay, set into a rare cut of maple burl, showcasing the exceptional quality of the timber. The appraiser estimated the auction value of the set to be between...
I would put an auction estimate of between about $10,000 and $15,000.
Well, you've made my day.
Well, you made my day too.
This bronze sculpture isn't merely an object. It's a testament to creativity. The sculpture belonged to the guest's great-grandfather. We can discern from the mark on the item that it was made by J. Clinton Shepard. Shepard was an American sculptor and muralist. Additionally, the item is dated 1923, as indicated at the base. Crafted in the form of a cowboy with a hat riding a horse, and with a cow also visible. Despite being made a long time ago, it is still in pristine condition. Given its condition, we can anticipate this bronzeware fetching a price of...
I would put an auction estimate of $10,000 to $15,000.
Oh, wow. That's pretty impressive.
A Turkmen communist figure rug, woven with threads of history and tradition, is showcased on the show today. The rug was purchased by the guest's grandmother in the 1930s while she was in Paris. Referred to as the Bukhara, this rug originated from Central Asia.
Kind of in countries like Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, even what's today Eastern Iran.
One of the most interesting aspects of this rug is the depiction of faces in the weavings, such as the two portraits in the center of the rug and two stylized faces on the edge.
This is a woman who was working outside of what she was supposed to be doing. These images she probably saw from prints, from propaganda posters, and incorporating them into her
One of these portraits resembles the communist leader Vladimir Lenin. Lenin was a Russian revolutionary, politician, and political theorist. Additionally, the rug has been very well preserved, further adding to its value. This rug intertwines tradition and politics, and at auction is estimated to be worth,
I would place an estimate of $1,500 to $2,500 on it, just out of a curiosity.
This ball is over 50 years old, and the story behind it is magnificent. It's a rare baseball signed by legends Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. It's quite unconventional to see a baseball signed by two giants in the baseball industry.
They actually signed the balls before they hit it into the stands.
They signed both boxes of balls and then went out to second base and hit them into the stands.
And that's why this baseball is priceless to both antique collectors and its owner. The baseball was signed in 1927 at Yankee Stadium, and this was a time when both Babe and Lou were at their individual peaks. The ball was also used in the game where it was signed, which increases its value. As a piece of sports memorabilia, this ball would auction at the retail price of,
I wouldn't insure it for less than $20,000.
Whoa, my goodness.
Today's item looks like a mini barrel, but it's a crock. Not croc as in crocodile, but as in a pot made from earthenware. This crock, however, is of American origin and was made in 1868 in Ohio. The crock is known as a salt-glazed crock stoneware. There are beautiful decorations done on the surface of the crock to beautify it.
A lot of times, cobalt blue decorated pieces were done with a stencil, but this was done with what they call a slip cup.
The crock is luxurious because it was made from cobalt, which at the time was expensive. The piece is a solid piece, and to a lot of collectors would be worth a bunch in today's market. At a suitable auction, this finely made stoneware would retail at,
on this piece, of $8,000 to $10,000.
Books are not just pieces of paper. They contain interesting stories behind them. A guest brought in a book to an appraiser explaining it was a gift from his late sister-in-law who bought it 20 years ago from an antique bookseller in Los Angeles. The book, by British author Radcliffe Hall, is the 1928 lesbian novel, The Well of Loneliness. The appraiser highlighted the book's importance in gay and lesbian literature. Although Radcliffe Hall was a well-known author, her British publisher faced obscenity charges because of the book's controversial content, resulting in it being banned in the UK. In the US, the book sparked a bidding war. Although the publisher faced obscenity charges, US courts ruled in its favor. Kovici Fride then released a special Victory Edition in 1929. The guest edition is from this special release. It's a deluxe 2-volume set and a matching slipcase signed by the author, and it numbered 43 out of 225. The appraiser noted that the US edition is more valuable and sought after than the UK original. This is due to its rarity and beautiful presentation. While examining the condition of the book, the appraiser said,
the 1928 UK one sells at auction for between $200 and $400. This one sells at auction for $1,000 to $1,500.
That's wonderful.
Unfolded before us is an elegant gold chain from a bygone era. Our guest inherited this treasure from her great-great-grandmother. The reverse side boasts an engraved plaque bearing the iconic mark of the luxury jeweler Tiffany & Company. This inscription tells us that it was created in 1876. The necklace's exquisite design indicates a strong Japanese influence. It is crafted from a luxurious blend of 18-karat gold and platinum. This extraordinary piece is in pristine condition and is an extremely scarce find, making it a true masterpiece that would command an auction value of,
you would have to pay between $55,000 and $60,000.
Wow.
This amphora porcelain piece is a stunning example of early 20th century craftsmanship. Passed down through generations, this piece holds a unique history. Crafted by the Amphora Porcelain Company in Bohemia around 1900 to 1905, the artist behind the piece is likely Nikolaus Kahnhauser.
Amphora had different times. They had different partners. Ernst Wallace was one of them.
Marked with RSTK, representing Reisner, Stahlmacher, and Kessel. It signifies a high-quality creation. The decoration on this piece showcases layers of gilding, enamel decoration, and grès bijou.
Which I believe in this company is called grès bijou, G-R-E-S, which is stoneware, and bijou, which are jewels.
The intricate design features stylized trees, flowers, and vegetation, culminating in the finely detailed figure of a woman. This amphora collection, with its exquisite detailing and historical significance, is truly a masterpiece. At auction, this exceptional piece, with its historical significance, would fetch
easily would be $3,000 to $4,000.
Wow. Yeah.
She's a real winner.
Wow. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. When I saw it,
This exquisite China set, originally owned by the guest's grandfather, dates back to the 1890s. Manufactured by Minton's in England, an iconic British ceramic manufacturer with a storied legacy of producing fine bone china, the pieces feature raised gold decoration and custom monograms, indicating their high value.
It's some of the most expensive china that money would buy at the time.
The set includes various patterns, all bought to complement each other, despite not matching exactly. The distinctive turquoise color and exceptional quality make these pieces highly desirable. Individual plates and cups are valued less in comparison to the tureens and the rare menu plaque, while the most desirable pieces are those with a removable liner. In total, this set, with its historical and artistic significance, would be valued at
a retail price would probably be between $1,250 and $2,000.
Sounds good, thank you.
This Penobscot Club, acquired from an antique barn near Fort Ticonderoga, is a remarkable find. The guest bought it in 1963 while vacationing in upstate New York. Originally thought to be a shaman's club, it is actually a fine example of a Penobscot club from Maine, dating to around the 1920s.
These were made for sale in the late 19th century into the 1940s. I suspect this one is probably from around the 1920s.
Crafted from the burl of a tree, it features intricate carvings of a moose, a fish, and a North American Indian portrait, topped with a polychrome wolf. Unlike many similar clubs, this one boasts exceptional carving and painting. At a gallery, this piece, with its exceptional carving and painting, would be valued at
we would ask somewhere between $4,000 and $6,000.
Amazing.
This stunning collection of jewelry was purchased by the guest while she was in London in the 1980s at a street market. Included in the collection is a Georgian ring crafted circa 1950, featuring a family crest on carnelian intaglio. Additionally, the shoulders of the ring are engraved with rose-cut diamonds set in the engravings. At auction, this piece would be valued at
retail market. This ring would bring approximately $4,500.
Another item exhibited is a slide made from Stuart crystal, dating back to the 17th century. It possesses faceted rock crystal with three-dimensional figures set on plain gold. The last item displayed is a ring crafted from ivory, featuring a ship's design on its face side, dating back to the 18th century. Given the intricate design, this ring would fetch a value of
that one I see at $7,500.
Oh my goodness.
In retail for a collector.
Oh my gosh.
A walking cane as an heirloom. To most people, this wouldn't make sense, but the magnificence of this cane can't be ignored. It was crafted in the late 19th century around what is likely believed to be the Civil War era.
The gentleman who carved this, his name is Napoleon B. Taylor, and he enlisted in the 22nd Michigan Volunteer Infantry in March of 1865.
There are engravings on the surface that serve as a form of identification. This cane serves as a piece of original American folk art. The cane is made from one of the strongest woods called diamond willow, and this wood also enhances the stick's beauty. In an auction, this stick would retail at the auction price of
put an insurance value on it of $6,000.
Wow.
Hardly would you ever see a combination of exquisite jewelry like this. One of the rings here is made from platinum, which is an expensive material, while the other two rings are made from diamond, a rare gem, and ruby, one of the most prized gems in the world. These rings were created in 1935 at a time when possessing rings like these was the dream of the rich. The style of architecture displayed on the rings is top-notch.
So you've got this kind of graduated design in the ring.
At an auction, each of these rings would retail at the price of
$4,000 to $5,000 a piece.
Wow.